The final selection of Blue Lock in the preparation for the U20 World Cup, the Neo Egoist League, was designed by Ego to shape all the Blue Lock players into world-class strikers. The whole selection was a battle of survival in which the players had to either evolve or get left behind, with players fighting for offers and recognition from all the professional clubs. In the original timeline, Isagi and Kaiser were two rivals who were against each other's throats from the start. They wanted to overthrow each other and take control of the team. Both viewing each other as an adversary, the developments lead to the evolution of each player and the team as a whole. Now what if, instead of being rivals, they both had worked together from the start of the Neo Egoist League? At the start of the Neo Egoist League, none of the players had any idea that a bidding system existed. At this time, the only reason for them to train hard was to be selected as a starter for the Bastard München team. If at this time, Isagi recognized that getting close to Kaiser could increase his chances of earning a starting position, and similarly, if Kaiser wasn't an inconsiderate person, then they both could have started to work together from the beginning. This would have changed the whole playstyle of the team, and considering that Kaiser only pays attention to people useful to him, Isagi would have had to adapt his own style in a way to work with him. But would this partnership help them evolve like they did in the original timeline? Or would it just limit their growth, forcing Isagi to maybe take a different approach? Isagi's mentality would have drastically changed in this scenario. Instead of trying to overthrow Kaiser, he would be working his way to integrate himself into the team and finding ways to maximize both his own and Kaiser's potential. This effectively means that he would be playing as a more hybrid midfielder to striker position. By doing this, he will show his potential to everyone and still gain a position in the top 11 salary rankings. On the other hand, Kaiser would have recognized Isagi's potential early on. Isagi's abilities to read the field, predict movements, and extend the plays would have interested Kaiser into being willing to cooperate with him, just to see how it would turn around. This means that their rivalry would change from overthrowing each other to pushing each other forward. In this scenario, if Kaiser passes to Isagi consistently, it would mean that the whole structure of the Bastard München team would be altered. Noah built the team around Kaiser, expecting that everyone would play around him, but now, with Isagi joining, the condition is that the structure would change into a more fluid one where the best positioned player would be the one receiving the passes instead of Kaiser only. One key factor over here would be that Isagi's evolution would depend more on Isagi's opponents this time than on devouring Kaiser to gain a chance of scoring. If Kaiser had introduced Isagi to Metavision earlier, then his ability to read and adapt to the field would have skyrocketed very early into the Neo Egoist League. With Kaiser and Noah helping him refine his abilities and making him a useful asset for the team, they would be developing him as a second powerhouse after Kaiser himself. But this would have changed his ego, as this version of Isagi won't be a striker alone, but also a playmaker for the team, sacrificing an opportunity where he could have scored to help others score in his stead. Not to mention, this change would have major consequences for the other players, starting from Ness, whose whole identity is being Kaiser's right-hand man. Now, with someone else filling most of his role and linking up with Kaiser more masterfully than he ever could, his obsession for Kaiser will lead to his breakdown. In the worst-case scenario, he will turn hostile towards Isagi, seeing him as the one who stole Kaiser from him. This would eventually lead him to sabotage Isagi during the matches. Other players like Kunigami, Yukimiya, Hiyori, Corona, and Kiora would have different approaches to their playstyles as well. Hiyori would have adapted by becoming more of a midfielder rather than pushing forward and helping Isagi. Corona and Kiora would have even fewer roles in the matches, as there wouldn't be any more need for playmakers. And finally, Kunigami and Yukimiya would be left to redefine their playstyles and go from an all-around forward to just finishers, as Isagi and Kaiser would be the ones opening opportunities for the team to score. Now as for the matches themselves, Bastard München's gameplay would have gone in a completely new direction. Against Mannshine City, Isagi and Kaiser would have worked together from the start, leading to a more one-sided match. Their metavision and unpredictable movements would have been too much for the opponents to read, leading to perfect openings to strike for them while leaving no room for the other team. Nagi and Chris Prince would have struggled against their coordinated attacks now, instead of just Isagi finding his own place in the original timeline. This version of Bastard München would be terrifying to face, with Isagi and Kaiser having a deep understanding of each other's movements and linking up with each other seamlessly. Their strike team will be near unstoppable. There is a chance that they might develop some new dual-linking weapons like Dual Phantom Shot or Phantom Mirage that could join Isagi's off-the-ball movements with Kaiser's pass-and-cut sequence to outmaneuver their opponents. They were already winning the matches while having destructive team play in the original timeline. In this one, it would just be overkill, as everyone from forwards to midfielders and wingers would be evolving their playstyles to match and help the two dominant strikers score goals. Against Ubers is when their partnership would have been really tested, as the defensive structure of the Ubers team might just be enough to give them a challenge. In the original timeline, Isagi's biggest breakthrough in this match came from understanding Uber's team defensive patterns and then countering them with his own movements. Here, he would have reached this realization with Kaiser, and both of them would have broken through their defense like nothing. This is also when Kaiser would have realized Isagi's true potential and would be more keen on using him instead of Ness. But now what about Kaiser? Noah wanted to use Isagi to evolve Kaiser, but would it still be the same case now that both of them are working together? Well, the answer depends on whether Kaiser sees Isagi as an equal or as a tool. In the original timeline, Isagi was an annoyance for him, someone he wanted to conquer, but Isagi started growing and catching up to him little by little. Over here, he would eventually recognize Isagi's potential and start treating him as someone worth working with, unlike Ness, who he uses as a tool. He would have healthy competition with Isagi, as both of them would be one-upping each other just to score goals. But this all depends on whether Kaiser's mentality in this timeline would be a cooperative one or not. His true struggle is his belief in limits. He was once like Isagi, a player who believed nothing was impossible, but after failing to surpass Noah, he settled for the second best. In this scenario, the rivalry would turn into a driving force for him, probably giving rise to the same feeling that he once had before. The real challenge will be during the PXG match, when everything will be so fast-paced and offensive that it will eventually reveal the limitations between their teamwork. With Rin and Shidu in play, their usual mind games and plays won't be enough to outclass them. They would soon begin to realize that individual plays matter more here than teamwork. That being said, this partnership won't stay completely healthy for both of them. During this match, Isagi will realize that his ego can't reach its peak if he keeps supporting Kaiser. This will eventually lead to a stage where he would come to the realization that his ultimate evolution would require him to surpass Kaiser. This won't be in the form of resentment like in the original timeline, but more out of deep mutual respect for him. The final act will determine who actually deserves to be the ace of Bastard München. However, the big question still remains. Will this version of Isagi be good enough to surpass Kaiser? Would working together benefit him more than the original timeline? We know that true evolution in Blue Lock is born from conflict and the striking of ego. Even after working together, one day they both would have had to face each other again, as there can only be one best striker in the world. Anyway, if you like Blue Lock and videos like this, then I would highly suggest you subscribe to this channel, and while you are at it, leave a comment and a like, as it helps out with the algorithm a ton. And if you are curious to see another video of mine, then please watch the video that will be popping up on the screen now. Anyway, thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye.